Hey guys, what is up and welcome to a new Tesla update video. So today, as per usual, let's go over Tesla, guys. Let's go over the market. Let's talk about what is happening in this market. Amazon, by the way, absolutely rocketing 11%. Unbelievable stuff, honestly. But yeah, let's talk about it. I'll give you my thoughts moving forward on Tesla and the broader market. And yeah, let's just jump right into it. If you enjoyed, don't forget to hit that like button. This is not financial advice. And I am not a financial advisor, but again, guys, if you enjoy my technical analysis, thoughts on the charts, updates, etc., well, again, I do share my thoughts with my members every single day as the market's open, as the market is trading. So definitely check that out. That link is, of course, down below in the description of the video, where again, you just click this link right here. You get access to this page to join if you wish. And of course, for the first tier, right, for $3 a month, you get access to all my Tesla updates, different time frame analysis, options, slow and broader market updates as well. All it is $3 a month, guys. $5 includes NVDA for tier 2, $7 for tier 3 includes the whole package. You get also access to my tier 3 posts that essentially include non-Tesla, non-NVIDIA stocks really that are setting up in the market, something, worth sharing, if you will. And of course, you get access to Discord, where we have a private chat room there for tier 3 members, a lot of day traders, a lot of people sharing thoughts, opinions, etc. And every Sunday, I do chart requests and review essentially with members on Sunday over on Discord as well. But yeah, jumping into it, Tesla closing the day down a pretty, decent percentage of about 4.7%, we'll say, on the day. Definitely feeling a little bit of that pain, but again, it's nothing too unusual. And honestly, it's not even that concerning in my opinion, at least not yet. It could become concerning, and I'll go over some potentially, very concerning signs that could develop. But as it stands right now, I wouldn't view this drop as being anything too concerning just yet. And I'll of course go over as to why that is and what needs to happen for it to become concerning or to become an actual problem. So let's start things off with a daily time frame. So like I mentioned, right? I mentioned before how, we were rallying over here, arguably to this green or close to the green Fibonacci's. We didn't, we'd arguably actually went slightly above it, slightly above it, right? Yesterday's candle, we were arguably closing just teensy weensy above it. So it was, looking promising potentially. But, based on the 4-hour time frame and the 1-hour time frame that I mentioned, there were some signs of concern, right? And then we got that drop today. So we did stop right at that 21 exponential moving average, which is good. You can see the price for the most part, other than this one kind of candle here, has been supported around this 21 EMA for like a while now, honestly, for quite a while. So, losing and closing below the 21 EMA, essentially below, I would say, about the mid to high 430s. Yeah, that would be the first problem, right? That would be that first kind of potential issue situation setting up, and that could lead into further issues, right? That's the thing that the bulls, in my opinion, want to most likely, I got a sneeze coming up, so bear with me, potentially, we'll see, avoid. Maybe not. So that's the first thing to watch for, right? If we start closing below that, then that could be a bit of a problem, right? But, the main thing I mentioned is, whenever Tesla does these things where it does this kind of almost like a dead catty looking rally like this, massive drop, lower low, kind of a dead catty rally, despite us ever so slightly closing above the green Fibonacci's, though not very convincingly. Like I said, it's like teetering on that, on it being a close above it or not. It's, it's very, very close. The MACD was red, right? I mentioned how many times before, and I showed you many examples in previous videos earlier in the week. The MACD was red, and every time that Tesla does this and the MACD continues to be red, kind of like what it did over here. This is arguably the same thing. Also MACD red, also MACD red, MACD green, MACD green, MACD green. What I mean? It's almost like this whole situation right here is almost the exact same move, honestly, right? And we're kind of experiencing that kind of pain now because of it. So the daily still has work to do. Now the bulls, like I said, are holding above bullish EMAs, they're holding the 21 EMA, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, there are still promising signs, but, the MACD is definitely kind of giving second thoughts to it, where it's just not, I wouldn't say it's very convincing, to be completely honest with you either. It has promise and there is potential, but it's not very convincing overall, at least not yet, right? So let's go over to the smaller time frames, because right now we can dissect something a little bit better, right? So the smaller time frames, I want to go to the 1 hour and make this so it's only visible on the 1 hour, so it's a little bit easier to view the 4 hour here, right? So what is the 4 hour suggesting? Well, I mentioned yesterday how we were arguably closing out of this, rising wedge, right? We fell out of it yesterday and pretty much retested it on this breakdown, right? Off of the FOMC and JPOW. So that was that concern. I mentioned how, I do lean bearish. Why? Because, yeah, we had that 1 hour bull flag potentially setting up here, but we didn't technically break out of the bull flag, right? That bull flag is still very much intact. It's not an actual bull flag yet in terms of an actual breakout, because it hasn't been confirmed. Meanwhile, we have technically confirmed that breakdown of this rising wedge. That's exactly what we got. And we got that fall through to the downside, right? And that's kind of why I wasn't too convinced. And on top of that, the 4 hour SMI was, again, at the very top of the range. And like I said many times over, one of my rule of thumbs personally is whenever the 4 hour SMI is like well into these ranges, essentially above this red line here, I'm a lot more hesitant on anything, a longing a stock, anything more than maybe even a scalp, honestly, because to me, the risk reward, whenever the SMI is up here for almost any stock, not every single time, it's not a perfect thing, of course, is not very good. Even now, right, on this drop, we're still fairly elevated, but you can see we did go back down below the red line, so it's cooling off, which is a good sign. It is definitely starting to cool off. Like one decent example I can think of is Open, actually. Open was looking like on the daily, if you looked at this, it's like, wow, this is almost looking like it wants to breaking out, right? So it wants to break out, it's getting very close, but you can see the whole time it was trying to break out, where was the SMI? It was at the top of the range, and we ended up coming back down. Even on a pretty volatile small cap like this, it still proved to be pretty lucrative, right, in that sense. So worth mentioning. Now, moving over to the 1 hour, and this is where things are getting interesting, right? This is where we can start talking about a bit more information. So what is the 1 hour now suggesting us? Now we're getting a little bit of a rally. You can see here on Tesla, 0.7%, right? Off of Amazon and Apple earnings, right? Pretty much the Max 7 in general, and the mega caps are feeling happy right now. They're feeling happy after a pretty painful day in the markets today off of Amazon and Apple. So that's good, but the 1 hour is interesting. So first and foremost, you'll notice the 1 hour SMI is at the bottom of the range now, despite the 4 hour being at the top, right? That implies the fact that if we do get a pop, it's most likely going to be a shorter term pop. So if Tesla essentially continues to hold this sort of 440-ish range, right? You can see right around here, almost like a double bottom on the 1 hour time frame. Then we can get a small pop, actually. Yeah, we can get a small pop right off this 0.5 Fibonacci level at 440, and we can actually come back up maybe even as early as tomorrow, especially with the way I was looking at options. There's a lot of options calls coming in for Tesla stock, especially down here for tomorrow, actually 445. Honestly, I really wouldn't be surprised if we rallied to 445 tomorrow. But, and this is the big but, this could still be just a rally to 445, a reject the way we did at these levels. And I actually still would not be surprised if we ultimately make one more low down closer to the red Fibonacci's and essentially this gap fill right here in the mid 430s. So as of right now, my base expectation, assuming this rally overnight holds, which I expect it to, yeah, honestly, a rally to about sorry, not 445, a little bit higher, closer to 450, I should say, right? 445 to 450, around this kind of $5 range, absolutely is expected. Would not surprise me. 1 hour SMI is oversold now. But again, I also wouldn't be surprised based on the 4 hour SMI that the larger picture, again, that's a shorter term picture. It's like the next couple of days, but the larger picture on the 4 hour here, which should take maybe up to a week or so, right? Is not fully cooled off yet. So quick little pop, rejection, back down, one more retest, gap fill, get down to these, to the red Fibonacci, the 618 Fibonacci. If you know anything about Fibonacci, the 618 usually is kind of a sweet spot. Right now, if you're extra patient and you get lucky, the green fibs are 786 is like even better. But 618 is usually pretty good, pretty damn good. If you know anything about the Fibonacci trading system, it's pretty good. It's pretty damn potent. So that's kind of my current expectation, but there's good confluence there mainly because of this gap fill as well. So not only would we get a gap fill, we would get that very nice healthy retracement off of this move to the upside. And that's what that would look like. Now, the reason I also believe that this move can happen, the reason I believe that we can get a quick little rally into one more lower low is because you have to remember, on this rally, once this 1 hour rally happened, we made this move to the upside impulsively, which was nice, made a higher high actually, despite us getting rejection, but it still made a higher high above this high here, which is good. Got that move to the downside, which let's take a look, guys. Where did that move to the downside end? This one was probably the 0.5, looks like a 0.5. Actually, it was a 0.5, between the 0.5 and between the 618, right? Got very close to the 618 here as well. Right? So, again, these Fibonacci's are pretty good. But the point I'm trying to make is the fact that off of this impulsive rally, in the fresh higher high, we made a higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, lower low. This is the first lower low. So I would view this push up right now that's most likely coming tomorrow as a lower high. I do think that'll be a lower high. About 450, give or take again. I'm not, not exactly 450. Could be a little bit less, could be a little bit more. Maybe even best case scenario up to about the 453-ish region to essentially retest this trend line here. But ultimately, a retest of this general vicinity, come back down one more time for that fresh lower low. Ultimately, set up a much larger looking bull flag that'll look something like this right here. And then from there is where things will get much more interesting. And from here, as long as this range holds around the mid 430s, is where I think the bulls can really start stepping in and we can really start moving higher. Give a nice little bull trap here, little bear trap into a bull trap, into a bear trap, and then we head higher. That's kind of my base expectation right now, assuming things go according to plan. Now, obviously, things can fall apart, so let's talk about that, right? Let's say things don't go as well. Let's say maybe, I don't know, going to the shareholder vote next Thursday, there's a lot of jitters. The market's scared, Tesla's scared, it's falling off a cliff, whatever, right? Whatever the case may be. To me, the worst case scenario is we play out what would be a double top pattern, right? This would be the double top pattern like this. Check it out. Massive rally, rejection, rally, same level of rejection, double top pattern. Now, like any pattern, bull flag, double top, double bottom, whatever. it doesn't, the patterns themselves are meaningless without confirmation. So what is the confirmation, right? What would actually confirm this being a double top pattern, which would be pretty bearish? But what would confirm that? Well, simply a loss of the neckline, right? Double top patterns, you have the M, right? It's kind of like an M pattern. This middle part of the M right here is that kind of neckline, if you will. If this is lost, so in other words, if Tesla pretty much loses about 410 roughly, if 410 is ever lost, then we have problems. That's when we can get a much deeper correction, and that's when we can start making our way back to 360s, 370s. But again, this is technically a threat, but it's not a full-blown threat until, or I should say more, not really until, unless if, right, it's still an if, 410 is lost, because then that does trigger the double top pattern, and that would be a problem. But again, until that happens, if that happens, maybe it doesn't, I wouldn't put too much weight into this, because again, yes, it looks scary, yes, it could play out, but the pattern is overall very meaningless without this sort of breakdown confirmation. So it's very important to understand that, because a lot of people will start saying this. You'll probably see a lot of people yapping about this pattern online as well. Double top, double top, double top. Well, yes, it is there. Yes, it is present. Yes, it is potential a threat. It's not, again, it doesn't mean anything until we get that confirmation below 410. So worth paying attention to. But all in all, guys, that's kind of how I see it moving forward. That's more or less what I see right now for Tesla stock, and that's kind of how I envision it moving forward as well. For now, though, my base prediction, my base case scenario is, a quick rally tomorrow into Monday, about 450, roughly, give or take a few dollars. Rejection, come down, get the gap fill up about mid 430s, which is also where that gap fill is right here, right? Something like this. Come to the the red Fibonacci's as well, and that'll set up what will be essentially a nice looking bull flag, right? That'll look something like this, give or take. Something like this, give or take, right? Nice little bounce from here. Where is it? Nice little bounce from here, and then we head higher. Something like that. That's my base projection right now. So let's see if that plays out. That's what I personally believe. If we obviously break out earlier, then it is what it is. But that's kind of how I see it right now. So let's see, guys. Let's see. Options flow, like I said, very bullish going into tomorrow for whatever reason. So let's see how that plays out. But all in all, definitely more bulls than bears by a slight amount. But specifically, you have to remember most of these bullish flows are just for tomorrow. So clearly they're expecting a bit of a rally tomorrow off of Amazon and Apple earnings. And so far they seem to be correct. Let's see, guys. Let's see. All in all, thanks for watching. See you tomorrow. Peace.